Right then, welcome back. I have here a package which I've had for a few weeks now, and I've only just had a chance to open it up, all the way from Finland, believe it or not. So it's all sealed, so we will do the world's slowest unboxing. I should have really broke the seal. Never mind, we'll get in somehow. Ah! No, I'm only kidding, only kidding. Right. I'm going to very carefully saw the top off the box. Behold, the mighty SEGA Tower of Power. Mark 1 Mega Drive, Mark 1 Mega CD, and finally the mighty mushroom itself, the Mega Drive 32X. Now, I bought the Mega Drive 32X, it must be well over a year ago, and it came with a Mega Drive 2 patch lead, I believe. And yeah, I've got my finger out and I've finally bought a proper cable for it and connected it all up. I got it from Retro Gaming Cables UK, and it's got the, you can't really see because it's just a complete mess on the back, but it's got the stereo jack from the headphone socket at the front, so it outputs stereo sound. And when you've got the 32X connected, the AV out, you have to use a Mega Drive 2 SCART lead. So I've got a C-Sync Mega Drive 2 SCART lead, also from Retro Gaming Cables UK. And well, I'm using my 3-in-1 power supply. You can see that there. So if I didn't have that, I mean, it would just be an absolute joke. I mean, God knows what Sega were thinking back in the day. 3 separate power supplies to run this bad boy. I mean, it's an absolute beast. But finally, it's all connected up. And today we're going to do a bit of modding. We're going to hopefully, touch wood, mod it for 60 Hz. Put a switch on there and give it 50-60 Hz. And at the minute I'm just playing a bit of Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. Bit of a fact for here. This is the first game I bought, well my mum bought back in the day, for my Mega Drive. Ordered it from Special Reserve, and it got delivered before school, and I remember playing it before school, before my mum quickly telling me to get to school. So a bit of a fact for you there. So at the minute the Mega Drive is running in 60 Hz, and what the 32X does when it's like this, it's just basically a pass-through device. So you can just play your normal Mega Drive games. You can't play Master System games. You need to remove this and use either the Master System 1 converter or the Master System 2. But however, I've got an EverDrive with a selection of 32X ROMs on there. So I'll just quickly pop the EverDrive in and I'll show you the 32X running in 50 Hz. See what we've got. Just turn that down a touch. Got some bonkers Star Parodia playing in the background. So there we go, that's inside the box. Some bubble wrap. Screaming crazy Japanese anime woman. What we got here then? What we got here? We've got a selection of gifts. As you can see, this is now 50 Hz. You can tell with the black borders top and bottom. And if I try and switch it to 60 Hz on the fly, it doesn't like it. It just freezes. I've tried switching it on the Sega logo, and it's not happening. I'll just quickly show you what it does. That's what it does, it freezes. So this game does not like being run in 60 Hz. Now that's because the Mega Drive, which is what I'm doing the switching on, it's switching the Mega Drive to 60 Hz, but the PAL 32X, it's still running in 50. So that's what we need to mod. We need to mod that to 60 Hz. So if that's running 60 Hz and the Mega Drive is running 60 Hz, all being well, we should have full screen, full speed. So that's the plan anyway. So yeah, we'll see if we can manage it, shall we? It's none other than the Moomin house. Very good. I'm actually a bit of a Moomin's fan, believe it or not. Yeah, all the way from Finland. It's the Moomin house. That's fantastic. That's really good. That. Pop that. I'll pop that there, shall I? Pop the Moomin house there. Right then. So I've disconnected the 32X from the Sega Tower of Power, and I've brought it over to the executive modding station. We've got it hooked up to the Mega Drive 2. This is the one I previously repaired for the dodgy power connector. So we've got it all powered up and it's all stripped down. 4 screws and the casing will come off this. And then there's about 10 or 12 screws and there's quite a few. There's like a metal shielding, so you remove that. Then you're pretty much into the gubbins of the 32X. Now I've gone back to shaky cam. And I've got to say that holding an iPhone 6 is a lot trickier than holding an iPhone 5. I've tried using the tripod, but just getting in and trying to focus and point and talk and everything else is proving a bit tricky, so I'll try my best. So I'm going to be working from a guide that was sent to me by my good friend Rob from Finland, Rockstar Runner 7, and I'm going to try and simplify the guide and explain to you how I think it works. It may not work like this, it probably doesn't, but I'm going to be using my Snap-on graphene multimeter, which has now gone off. Let's turn that back on. Now this is what I use on a weekly basis. I normally deal with car, modern motor vehicle diagnostics, electrics. So I'm going to try and use my limited knowledge of car electrics and then use that with, well, retro video game electronics. So we'll make a start. So this is the area we're going to be looking at. Apologies if it goes in and out of focus. I imagine it's going to be doing this quite a bit. So the black chip that says Sega, that is some kind of video processing chip. Now the area we're concerned about or bothered about is this very end pin here. Now this is pin 17. Now I imagine what it does, this chip monitors pin 17 all the time, and what it does, it's looking at what voltage is going into that pin 17. So at the minute, at pin 17 is ground. I can show you that. So I put my probe onto pin 17, let that focus, so 0 volts, 0.04, which is ground. Remove the probe, and then we get the old ghost voltage come back on. But you can see it's reading. Put that back on, and it goes back down, more or less 0. It's pretty good, this meter. And the good thing about using one of these, the graphene meters, is you can actually see what's going off in real time, as opposed to just looking at an LCD display with some numbers on. But anyway, I'm waffling. So yeah, at the minute, this chip, pin 17, it's grounded out, it's earthed out, 0 volts going into that chip, so it automatically runs 50 Hz, which is the PAL configuration. Now it's doing this by the means of R43, which is that little guy here. 0 volts ground is running through there to pin 17. Now what we're interested in is R42, which is just above, which is that point there and that point there. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be bridging this, and then that is going to force the 32X, or force the video chip, to NTSC, and then it's going to run 60 Hz. So we'll do some quick voltage measurements. So this side here is still ground, as you can see. And then this side here is 5 volts. So in effect all we're doing is we're taking the 5 volts at this point and we're bridging it over to this side, which goes direct to pin 17. So when that video processing chip, when it's monitoring this pin 17, it's going to see 5 volts and then it's going to switch it to 60 Hertz. I'm basically working off how a car control module works. It works with inputs and outputs. So I'm assuming that this chip is monitoring pin 17. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works. So all I'm going to do really basically is put a wire on there, solder a wire onto there and a wire onto there. So 2 wires going to a switch. When you close the switch, all it's going to do is send 5 volts from that point over to that point straight to pin 17 of the video processing chip, and it's going to run 60 Hertz. When you open the switch, it then reverts it back to how it was before. So instead of going over, jumping the gap, it will go back down to this point here, which is R43. So just be pin 17 will then be grounded out again, and it will go back to running at 50 Hertz PAL. So hopefully that makes sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it's pretty simple. I may put a picture up. I think I've said that already. I don't know. But anyway, let's fire up the soldering iron and let's get soldering, shall we? Right then, so very quickly I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now. So I've got my wire, my scruffy wire that I brought back from work. I've got it set up in this little mounting point here. Got some solder, got my soldering iron that's preheated up, and what we're going to do, we're basically tinning the end of this wire. I'm just preloading that with some solder. I've already soldered one wire, you can probably just see that. I've put some flux on there. So what I'm going to do now is heat up that other pad and then attach that wire to the pad, and we'll test it, and once I'm happy it's working, I'll probably put a bit of hot glue on there because it's quite a delicate area. So but anyway, we'll do that first. Right, so I'm going to try and film this. Don't know how good it's going to go, but we'll see. Try and not burn my fingers and melt my face. So if I just clean that soldering iron up a little bit, using a very small tip on this soldering iron, and then what I'm trying to do is very tricky. This, heat that point up there. There we go. Okay, so this is what happens when you use a eBay soldering iron and you're not very good at electronics. As you can probably see, the pads are now gone, the trace is gone, the leg has gone. It's dead. Amazingly though, it still works in 50 Hertz. There is actually one more option. I've been trolling the internet and I've found that there's a retro repair clinic which operates in Finland, of all places. It's run by 2 mad scientists. Hopefully they'll be able to at least take a look at it and maybe offer their services and try and resurrect the 32X. Other than that, then I guess it's just going to be stuck in 50 Hertz for the rest of its life. You know, I gave it a go. I like to get involved with these repairs, these mods, but unfortunately this it's gone over my head. So I'll try and get in touch with these guys and we'll see what we can do. I'll see what they can do at least anyway.
Ah, Miss Newton. Some of our finest work. So nice to see you again. How can we help you today?
I've got a very sick Sega.
I'm sure it can't be that bad. Shall we take a quick look? A preliminary examination. Minor invasive, I'm sure.
There you go, pal.
Yes, it does look like a 32X. We have seen this before. Everything seems quite normal.
It's more the internal gubbins.
Oh, I see. Well, let's take a look inside. We'll just go in through the flap. Oh, I'm afraid it appears it's lost a leg. Thank you for coming at such short notice, doctors. Dr. Moomin Papa, Dr. Beast Wars Megatron, Dr. City Pig. So we have quite a serious situation. Yes, a missing leg. I think Dr. Beast Wars Megatron raises a valid point. Okay, thank you, Dr. City Pig. Yes, Dr. Moomin Papa. I'll go inform the patient's relative. Thank you for your patience. I've discussed with my colleagues and we've decided the only real course of action at this point is to go see a specialist. Luckily, I am in contact with a man of great skill who has helped me with situations like this before.
So luckily the chip actually had the plastic case, so it's not the ceramic case, so it can be cut with the knife. So it was a little bit easier to job to get at least something to some part of the leg uncovered inside the actual chip. Because if it would have been like ceramic, we would have needed to use a Dremel or some other tool that can cut it. Now it's maybe possible. So hopefully now it's fixed and switch added. So basically I got this chip enough to have a tiny big piece of that leg there to be shown, and then I bridge this spot, this leg, or the remain of the leg to this spot in the PCB where it's normally connected, and then I added the wire to this switch that is connected either to the ground taken here or the 5-volt taken from this leg of this cap, and it will basically pull this signal, the leg, was it 17, either up to 5-volt or down to the ground.
Alright, let's test the result. We got Genesis 32X Blackthorn, PAL 32X Star Wars Arcade, the Mega CD, Mega Drive, and the 32X we just operated on. So right now this is PAL BIOS 50Hz, 50Hz. That's the first test. Seems to be working nicely. Picture looking good. Alright. Now let's turn this off and flip some switches. Now we've set to the US BIOS 60 and 60. Alright, so we're going to call the Mega Drive level of functionality fine. Now let's get on to testing some 32X stuff. So we're back at 50 Hz for PAL SEGA 32X Star Wars. Seems to be working quite nicely. Alright, well, we're not going to film too much of this because it'll be hit with a copyright strike. So now we'll move on to Blackthorn 60Hz test. Okay, so now we're at 60 and 60, and we got Genesis 32X Blackthorn. And there we go. We have 60 Hz. 32X action. Here he is, Blackthorn. So, the fix has worked. This little beauty is back to full strength.
Ah, the patient's arriving now. Thank you, nurse. So, despite the horrific damage to the leg that we discovered inside, our brilliant surgeon, Miikka, has not only managed to restore the original functionality of the MEGADRIVE 32X, but he has made it faster, more powerful and stronger than ever before. 60 Hz is within reach. So, we'd like to thank you for visiting us today, and return the patient to you now.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm glad you're happy. There's only one small matter left to discuss, the bill.
So they're wrong, Cocker.
Miss Newton, Miss Newton, come back! Oh, bugger.
What else we got? Well, safe to say, it is back. It's been to see the doctor, it's been to see the surgeons, Chief Consultant Miikka, and Dr. Mr. Robin Seabrook. There's nothing else in there. No, it's nothing else in there. So here we go. The 32X. Jesus. The 32X resurrected. And they've even put a nice 50-68 switch on the back for me. Very nice, very nice. So big thanks to Miikka. I've seen the footage, the late night footage. You can see inside, which I will put up at some point in this video if you've not already seen it. But yeah, they basically resurrected it. Rob offered. He said fair enough. He said, you know, send it over. I'll send in some games over anyway. You can stick it in parcel, and I'll get my mate Miikka to look at it. So we'll get it on show and we'll have a look. Excuse me, see if it works. So yeah, really happy to have that back. And I've got a Moomin house. That's good, that. I imagine the roof is like to keep your tea warm. I do like the old Moomins. So yeah, big thanks to Rob, Roxoran7, Miikka, who has got a channel. Don't know offhand, but I will pop in a link in the description. So make sure you go and check out each of the guys' channels and give them a sub. And yeah, big thanks from me. Fantastic. They've really sorted me out, and yeah, well, you've probably seen the mess that I made. But you know, I do like to have a go at things, and yeah, it didn't go too well, did it? So there we go, 60 Hz. Thanks for watching, guys. Silly Ron Cocker. Cheers, Miikka and Rob.